What's up, y'all? Today I'm gonna teach you how to get up on a foil behind the boat. The great thing about foiling is that you can do it behind a badass boat like this Centurion RI 230, or you can even do it behind a jet ski. And if you're really talented, you can start off a dock like that over there. I'm not that talented yet, so we're gonna just teach y'all behind the boat for today. I will say that getting up on a foil for the first time is a pretty difficult task, and I find that it makes it much easier if you kind of do this as a team with your driver. So if your driver is on point, which Mike over here, he's a pretty talented boat driver, it will make it a ton easier. First things first though is getting your foil set up for a beginner. I highly recommend taking the mast of your foil and sliding it back as far back on the track as possible on the board you're riding. Doing this will help you keep the nose of your board down rather than kind of bouncing up and down crazy like that. You can have your foil like this at the beginning. I just find it will make it a little bit more difficult, and you will tend to sort of rocket ship into the air, and you will be the guy that's just bouncing over and over again. So if you do move the mast back as far back as you can on the track, I find that this will make it much easier for you. I do find having your feet positioned more forward on the board is extremely helpful. This board does have straps on it, but say having your front foot pretty close to the nose and your back foot maybe just slightly in front of the mast, this will help you keep that nose down and will kind of keep you from getting out of control. Also, in my personal opinion, using a wakeboard rope rather than a short surf rope is a much easier task. If you are using the surf rope, you're very close to the boat and there's much more turbulence under the water, and it makes it kind of harder to balance and you'll get pushed forward by the wave. So if you are using the wakeboard rope, you'll be much further back, much less turbulence underwater, and I find it'll be a lot easier to control the foil. And last thing before we go jumping into the water, we're going to talk about the driver. We got Mike here. Basically, you're going to want to do this with no ballast at first. You can do it with ballast, but in my opinion, you're just wasting gas. So do this with no ballast and kind of figure it out later down the road. You can fill up the tanks. With wakeboarding and wake surfing, you can kind of get away with having a bad driver and having someone who just kind of rips the throttle all the way down and lets you just catch up with the cruise control. But if you do this while foiling, it's kind of gnarly.
You ready back there?
Jimmy, ready?
Yeah.
I highly recommend when driving, drive your rider as if they were a little baby, a tiny little kid that weighs like 60 pounds, and just ease onto the throttle and gradually pick them up. That will keep them from lifting into the air too early and kind of rocket shipping into the air, ending back into that bouncing feeling again. So just drive the boat like a baby and just kind of ease onto the throttle like this.
Okay, here we go.
Time for the rider, yourself, you trying to get up on the foil. It should be almost exactly like getting up on a wake surfboard or a wakeboard at the very beginning. If you don't already know how to do this, go check out both those videos. They are on my channel. But if you don't know how to wake surf or wakeboard already, I feel that this will be an extremely difficult task. So go learn how to do that and then come back and we'll learn the foil. Okay, so we already know how to wake surf. You're about 80 feet behind the boat. That's the length I recommend. It's going to be almost exactly the same as getting up while wake surfing, except this time you're going to try and put a lot more weight on your front foot. I bet almost 80 or 90% of the weight on your front foot, because if you are back foot heavy like you normally would be on your wake surfboard, you will end up launching and sort of breaching out of the water and you'll end up crashing. Obviously, the foil is a little bit awkward shaped, so you're going to need to make sure you grab that board with one hand and flip it up onto your feet. And once the boat is in kind of that idle speed, the water pressure should hold that board up against your feet. Soak those knees up to your chest, your arms will be straight, and it's exactly like wake surfing from there. Your driver is slowly increasing that throttle, pulling you up in the water nice and slow. You're gonna wanna do this all slow motion, so you'll get up nice and slow, just like on the wake surfboard, front foot heavy, and you'll get up all the way until you're flat on the water. as you're getting flat on your board, your driver isn't even all the way up to the full-blown 11.2 miles per hour or so. You might be at around 6 miles per hour at this point. You're up and on top of the water. You haven't lifted into the air yet. At this point, you want to kind of slightly edge out into the flats at about the 6 mile an hour point. It's pretty difficult to tell how fast you're going back there, but at a very slow speed, gradually edge out into the flats away from the boat so that there's no waves, no turbulence. You have a nice solid area for you to gain control on your board while the board is still resting on the water. Now that you're out in the flats where there's no turbulence or waves, your driver is still getting all the way up to speed. You're gonna gain control on your board, and once you feel that you're in control, you can start slightly putting pressure on your rear foot to kind of try and lift that board up into the air. You don't need to put a ton of pressure on that back foot. You don't want to lift it too high to where you breach out of the water completely. So just put a slight amount of weight and just let your board lift into the air, and kind of just be nice and slow movements, stay squatted, and just try and gain control on your board. Figure out that balance of how much weight you need on the front foot and the back foot, and just chill out there, hold onto the handle with your front hand, and just gain control of being in the air on your foil. So now you're up in the air, you're flying, you've gotten up on your foil. Congratulations. At this point, you just need to kind of mess around with it, play with the back foot weight, the front foot weight, play with slowly getting on edge in each direction, and eventually you'll be able to kind of come into the waves and figure out how to catch the wave and things like that. I will make a tutorial for that in the future, but today is just about getting up. So yeah, once you get to this point and you're in the air and flying, you're gonna absolutely love this sensation. So yeah, hop on a foil, figure it out, and I promise you it's gonna be awesome and super fun, because I absolutely love it. But yeah, that's how you get up on a foil. If you guys like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, comment below what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. And remember, I'll be uploading a water sports video every second day forever, so make sure you guys subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace!